I would love to ask you, like Wall Street, I mean, obviously you kicked off on Wall Street. There's some people like Paul Tudor Jones, but Mike Novogratz, right? He was one of the first Bitcoin advocates, and a lot of people are showing lots of hate on him and stuff like that. Did you have a chance to chat with Novogratz or some of these Wall Street guys, and did they share a similar version of what made them, be so energized,
Yeah, so big fan of Mike Novogratz. He obviously runs Galaxy Digital, and we're supposed to have him on the show in the next month or two. We've had Dan Moorhead on of Pantera Capital, who they're good friends, and Dan's got $3 billion invested in pure blockchain plays and funds. He used to work actually with me at Bankers Trust at the same time. We walked by each other in the cafeteria. I didn't know him at the time. And so he comes from that old school banking background. And Novogratz is that classic hedge fund guy. I always say, have you seen the TV show Billions? Novogratz is a version of that guy. He's a little old school. He's in his late 50s. He's super smart, but he's been there and he's taken the hits and he understands trading. But he's also no dummy, and he can see what's happening here. And he's the first to admit that he might not understand why an NFT has gone up by 1,000x in 2 weeks. But he's there also to admit that something's happening here when you see a community have so much value in something like a Dogecoin. He said there's elements here that are real. And so I like Mike's perspective to it. I like to hear Dan Moorhead. I had Anthony Scaramucci on my show, who I had last year talking about how he famously spent 11 days in the White House, but he's got $1 billion of Bitcoin on his funds as well, and he's educating institutions. So most of these people are seeing the light. And one thing I know from banking is that if your customer is asking you for Bitcoin exposure and you don't give it to them, the next guy will. And so banks are traditional, but they also know when someone's going to eat their lunch for them. And so these people are opening their minds and they're getting into this space, and we're seeing it happen. And I think it's only going one way. So that's what I see. And most of my old school hedge fund buddies in New York, like Novogratz, they have positions on PA, and they're talking about putting it into their funds.